Marjorie Taylor Greene's actually standing up to Donald Trump. She's throwing him under the bus, and she's afraid, it seems, that someone may try to do her harm because she's putting her name to that discharge petition to release the Epstein files. And despite the pressure coming from the White House, she says she will never remove her name from that discharge petition, and she's worried that someone's going to hurt her. Let me just read what she just posted. She goes, "I am not suicidal and one of the happiest, healthiest people you will meet. Okay. I have full faith in God and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. As a sinner, I am only saved through His grace and mercy. With that said, if something happens to me, I ask you all to find out which foreign government or powerful people would take heinous actions to stop information from coming out, not only about this issue referring to Epstein, but because of the truth I have been speaking. The people understand what I'm saying." I mean, is she saying that people in the Trump regime are going to be coming after her and doing her harm? So if something happens to her, she wants the world to know that she's not suicidal because she wants the Epstein files released, and she's not caving to Donald Trump's pressure to remove her name from that discharge petition. I mean, she posted that message over. She's been posting all day, stuff like this, because we know, right, the Trump regime is putting pressure on Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, Thomas Massie, he's not taken his name off of the petition, and Lauren Boebert to remove their name from the discharge petition because a Democratic Congresswoman-elect, Adelita Grijalva, she just won the election in Arizona's 7th congressional district. She's on her way right now to Washington, D.C., and she's demanding that MAGA Mike Johnson swear her in on Monday, the way he swore in other people who arrived in Congress as the Congress members-elect. Just take a look at what Marjorie Taylor Greene posted as well. And by the way, Adelita Grijalva becomes the 218th signature on the discharge petition, so the Epstein file vote would take place potentially as early as Monday if Adelita Grijalva gets sworn in, which she should. And we know now, MAGA Mike Johnson saying, "I'm not going to swear you in until we get the official vote tally," even though that's never been the standard before. The end of the day, she won her election, the special election last week, by over 40 points. There's no dispute or question that she won. She destroyed the Republican. She outperformed former Vice President Kamala Harris's 2024 numbers by 20-plus points. That shows you, again, another Democratic overperformance. But here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene posted as well. She goes, "To be clear, to set the record straight on my support for the Massie Epstein discharge petition, I stand with the girls and women who are sexually abused and raped, period, every time, at all times. For me, it's not about a pissing contest between political parties or political enemies. The Epstein rape and pedophile network must be exposed. The women and their attorney have said over and over that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, and he was the only one that helped the women. This is factually true. Also, the Democrats who had the power for the past 4 years never did a single thing or showed they even cared about these women who were victims of Jeffrey Epstein. They could have exposed the entire thing while they had power, but never lifted a finger to do so. If anyone is implicated, then they have the right to clear their name, just as millions of Americans have had to do when falsely accused of a crime. I've had to do that many times and even had to defend myself against lies and pay massive attorney bills to do it. For example, I was wrongly accused of insurrection and actually had to sit on a witness stand in a Georgia court of law and defend myself and clear my name, release all the Epstein information by any means possible, and return the focus to helping Americans. I hear daily about how Americans can't afford to pay their health insurance monthly premium, can't afford rent, can't afford to buy a home, can't afford to pay for care for their aging parents, and can't afford life in general. The obsession over the Epstein files and fighting about it should not be happening and needs to end. But it's only an issue in the news because it has become a political fight, and it should not be one. My name is staying on the discharge petition, and I will dive into the Oversight Committee's investigation, just as I do with every investigation. And to be clear, once again, I stand with the woman and the women who were raped at 14. That's her statement. I mean, look, I can easily fact check her when she tries to attack the Democrats for not releasing the Epstein files. because, where she talks about, I hear daily about Americans who can't afford health insurance monthly premiums. The Democrats under former President Joe Biden were focused on doing things like that and trying to clean up Donald Trump's mess. Also, you had Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal before the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. That only ended about a year ago, I think like last September. So you really couldn't even release the files if you wanted to while her initial appeal was pending. The Second Circuit recently rejected her appeal, and now she's filed with the United States Supreme Court. But this issue about, saying that we're going to release the Epstein files, this was the issue that Trump ran on. This is what he and MAGA said they were going to do over and over again. So that was your issue, right? Former President Biden's issue was, we're going to revitalize manufacturing, we're going to improve NATO, and we're going to add Sweden, and we're going to add other countries, and Sweden and Finland to NATO. Foreign policy stability. We're going to get us out of the deranged Trump COVID policy and get us past that. And we got to fix the fact that Donald Trump caused all of this inflation by causing the United States of America to incur like $8.5 trillion of debt. Trump's responsible for like 30% of all of the debt out there. So those were the priorities, to be clear. But here, Marjorie Taylor Greene is also attacking the Trump regime on issues like health insurance, monthly premiums, can't afford rent, can't afford to buy a home, can't afford to pay for care. And what's so interesting is as we're approaching this government shutdown, which I also call the Jeffrey Epstein shutdown, because one of the reasons I believe why MAGA Mike Johnson is not allowing votes to take place on Monday and Tuesday is because he doesn't want Adelita Gravala, the congresswoman-elect from Arizona, to be sworn in, because if she's sworn in, there'll be the